Actually, it's the first time in a long time that I'd rather talk about the Cowboys' on-field product. It's actually underrated. In previous years, we talked about Mike McCarthy's job security, Micah Parsons' podcast, Dak's contract. No, Cowboys offense, number one in the NFL. The on-field product, it's good. Devontae Williams, top 10 running back. Dak, PFF's number 2 quarterback, 2-star receivers, one of the top third down offenses. The offensive line is young, getting better, has surrendered the 4th fewest sacks. One of the better 3-and-out teams, 5th fewest in the league. You think about that. And with the new kickoff rule and the field goal range of Brandon Aubrey, they're like 2 12-yard plays from points. They're scoring on almost half of their drives. Add this. They're the best 2-minute offense in the league. Add this. You know who the best quarterback in the league against the blitz? It's not Matt Stafford. It's not Josh Allen. It's not Patrick Mahomes. It's not Jared Goff. It's not Lamar Jackson. It's Dak Prescott. Great against the blitz. Top 3 in pressures. Running the ball. 2-star receivers. Best field goal kicker in the sport. Made aggressive trades to solve their defense. Their defense was the 2nd worst in the league. Then they made those Kenny Clark, Quinnen Williams deals. You know, the last 2 weeks, it's the 7th best defense. And go ask Philadelphia. You can't run on them. For years, I was a Cowboy critic. And there's a lot of people in my business that, you know, they'll hammer Dallas because they know it gets clicks. I hammered Dallas because I thought they were poorly run. But you can't hammer them now. And they may not beat Kansas City tomorrow. But 2 first-round picks, aggressive trades, number 1 offense in the NFL, best 2-minute drill, best against the blitz, top 10 run game, offensive line, not great in pass protection, but emerging as a much better run offensive line. I know. I didn't think Schottenheimer was going to work. I thought it was a weak hire. It's the best I've seen Dak in a long time. So Kansas City, probably the better team. Home teams do very well on Thanksgiving. Either way, I think Dallas against Kansas City tomorrow, it's a real game. And I would not have said that a year ago, right? Last 5 years, how many times Kansas City, Dallas, and you think, you know, Dallas could win this thing? Well, Dallas's offense right now is a lot better than Kansas City's, and it's not particularly close. So speaking of quarterback, the Bears, toughest game of the year at Philadelphia, Eagles off a loss, will be in a surly mood. This is something I've given a lot of thought, and I talked about it for about a minute, 90 seconds yesterday at the end of the show. There's a lot of criticism from people on the internet that don't like the fact that, like, Caleb Williams is completing like 59.5% of his throws. And I've always said, like, the line is 62.5 minimum. So this year, you can look at some of these stats on a passer rating. Its completion percentage is very low. Here's some other numbers. 4-0 in November, 8 touchdowns, no picks. And the Bears are the only team in the NFL to average 30 points a game and 400 total yards in November. I like those numbers. But here's the thing, what's happening, and this is why I give this so much thought. And this is my favorite part about sports. The constant changes. I talked about this the other day, that college basketball was unwatchable for 20 years. And then about 3 years ago with the NIL and a lot of players staying for one more year that would be second-round picks and all that NIL money buying Europe's, some of their best 20 players, college basketball the last 2 years, excellent. You go, the draft this year, the top 3 or 4 players are all-stars, all of them. So, and here's the thing, what's happening with the NFL is that mobility is no longer a luxury. It's a requirement. Because right now, the young offensive coaches are using motion double what they did 10 years ago. There's just more smart, clever offensive coaches. And I'm not saying you can run your way to a Super Bowl at quarterback. Lamar Jackson's just struggled to win games in the playoffs. But it's like how I view college. I would recommend sending your kids to college, but the only thing in 2025 guaranteed about sending your kids to college, they'll come out of it with massive college debt. AI, the phone, Google. There is so much information out there now that you don't have to sit through a college lecture and pay $74,000 a year to attain. I still think it's the place to go, but it's not the be-all, end-all. And that's how I look about Caleb's completion percentage. Yeah, I'd like him. Right now, he's like 59.5. I'd like him to get up to 61.5. But do you know the last 3 quarterbacks to lead the NFL in completion percentage? Last 3 years, 0 playoff wins. The days of Drew Brees, no, throw it downfield, a lot of motion, get out of the pocket. CJ Stroud, below average completion percentage. Last 2 years, he's won playoff games. So I know it matters. I understand that it matters to some degree. But we were talking about this morning as a staff, is that I remember when I was younger, high school and college, memorization was a really cool thing. I'd memorize the back of baseball cards. I'd memorize sports stats. And then Google happened. Sorry, it'd take me 30 seconds. I'll find the answer. So John Elway, he was ahead of the curve. He won 2 Super Bowls. In both playoff runs, he completed 55% of his throws. So RG3 talked about this the other day. I would like Caleb to get a little better, like 61%, but I'd be good there. I don't need 65%. Here's RG3.
Accuracy is a myth, all right? Accuracy to me is always dependent upon where the defense is and what you're trying to get the receiver to do. So where I think his 61% completion percentage comes from is more so the fact that he is willing to take more chances to have big plays occur, which drives down his completion percentage. Do you want a guy that's going to be a check down Charlie? Do you want a guy that is not going to take those risks deep down the field because he's afraid to make mistakes? I don't think that's who Caleb Williams is.
Yeah, I don't think he is. Listen, it's great that Drake May can run and complete 71% of his throws. At this point, Drake May's better than Caleb Williams, and nobody's disagreeing with that. But again, mobility is not a luxury. It is a requirement. I mean, Jared Goff, that is old school now. And he's still in the prime of his career. That's old school. He doesn't move. I mean, Stafford's really old school.